Welcome to your complete Wimbledon guide. Everything you need to know when you come to the home of tennis. From using public transport to get here, to having a tour around Wimbledon, what's inside the museum, the many ways to get tickets to watch the championships, and what it's actually like to attend matches here. Join me as I show you around the most famous tennis venue in the world. The official name for this place is the All England Lawn Tennis and Croquet Club, but you'll know this as Wimbledon. The most prestigious tennis tournament in the world and the most hallowed ground for the sport. It's steeped in long history and tradition, and if you're a tennis fan, I urge you to come here once in your life, even if the championships aren't on. The easiest way to get to Wimbledon is to use the tube system. The nearest is Southfield's tube station, and it's a 15-minute walk away down Wimbledon Park Road. Alternatively, use Wimbledon train station, which is technically further away, it's about a 20-minute walk, but you can also take national train services from here. Bus number 493 will drop you off literally outside the museum, and if you're driving, when the championships aren't on, you can park for free at gate number 1. But during the championships, there is generally no parking available. Most of the time, the championships aren't on and you can take a tour of Wimbledon and visit its museum. When you arrive, the tour and museum is located at gate number 4, and you'll be security checked before you enter the gates. If you haven't already bought your ticket, you can buy it here at the museum ticket desk. But if you're early for a tour, feel free to have a little walk around the grounds. Don't stray too far because it's the size of a giant park. If you've got time, check out the Wingfield Cafe. It's a lovely place to eat and drink, pick up some pims and some strawberries or some champagne, etc. And whilst you're around, have a look at all the cool stuff on display, such as the statue of Fred Perry and the walls of honour and scoreboards that are on display. When it's time for your tour guide will start right outside court number 1. And today, we're incredibly lucky because we've got Mary Drysdale, a famous, award-winning tour guide and one of London's best, so we're really lucky to have her. On your tour, you'll be given the history of Wimbledon, from its humble beginnings to the mega tournament that it is today. Oh look, joining us on our tour is Dan Bloxham. He's the head coach here at the All England Lawn Tennis and Croquet Club, and also the Master of Ceremonies here at the Wimbledon Championships. You've probably seen him on TV at some point, so wow, a lot of celebrities on our tour today. Wimbledon is massive. It's the size of a national park, and it has 3 show courts which have stadium-style seating. And the first one we're visiting is court number 1. With its new retractable roof, and its 12,345 seating capacity, it's definitely a lot smaller in real life than it is on TV. But that doesn't make it any less grand. You can literally feel the history of this court as you're walking around it. High angle seating, pristine grass playing surface, and the tour guide enthusiastically explains what it's like to play here and what the atmosphere is like on a typical game day. Outside court number 1, you'll find what's colloquially known as Henman Hill, where a lot of people who don't have tickets to the show courts usually sit here and watch the action. There's big TV screens on the side showing you the action from court number 1 and centre court, and there's also robot mowers mowing the fields at all times, keeping the grass perfect. When you walk around, even though it's immaculately decorated throughout, it's the size of the place that'll surprise you the most. It's definitely the size of a very large park. You'll see some of the smaller, lesser-known tennis courts, you'll get to hear the stories of what generally happens here, and you'll even visit the infamous court number 18, which was the venue of the longest tennis match to have ever been played, a game that lasted 11 hours and 5 minutes. Ouch. Overall, especially if it's a nice sunny day like today, it's actually a very pleasant tour to go around. Even though there's lots of walking, you generally don't mind when you're surrounded by all of this. You'll get to go into the players' press conference area, where you'll get some nice cool photo opportunities at the desk right here. And here's my doubles partner. You can examine how the media reports on all the matches right here in the media zone. You'll then get to go into the players' lounge, which is very fancy, really nicely decorated, and it definitely looks the part. You'll even get to go upstairs to some of the other player areas, including the player services room. Believe it or not, the players have to collect their own prize money from this door right here, and sort out their accommodation and theatre tickets from this window. So everything that a player needs is taken care of right here in this room. Every player who plays at Wimbledon for that year signs this white wall. And there's Andy Murray. You get some amazing stories by the tour guide, and these doors open up to the royal box. But because we're not royalty, we're not allowed in, which is a shame. Next up is one of the main hospitality areas that the player's family gets to use whilst the championships are going on. Really nice. But no trip to Wimbledon is ever complete without seeing the world's most famous tennis court. This is Centre Court. This is the show court that holds all the Wimbledon Finals, where champions are made and legends of the sport are created. It's every bit as immense as the players say it is, and it's every player's dream to play on its hallowed turf. Even though Centre Court holds about 15,000 people, far fewer than at Arthur Ashe Stadium in New York, it's still very grand. It does look smaller in real life than it does on TV, but it makes up for it with its sheer reverence. High angle seating, retractable roof, perfect grass, the famous scoreboard, it all comes exactly as advertised. Over there, clad in wood, is the royal box, where our royal family sits to watch the matches, and you'll find some celebrities there also. You get to hear some amazing stories at Centre Court. And you'll also get some fantastic photo opportunities around the stands. That's virtually the end of the tour, but not without seeing some displays commemorating the former champions of Wimbledon. The tour guide definitely brings it to life. And it's such a fantastic tour, especially if you get Mary. If you are a fan of tennis, this comes highly recommended. And rather predictably, the tour ends in the gift shop, where you can buy all sorts of Wimbledon merch. Included with your tour of Wimbledon is entry into the Wimbledon Lawn Tennis Museum. This is an amazing exhibit. Firstly, you get this free interactive audio guide, and I highly recommend that you use it because it colourfully explains to you the history of tennis, from its beginnings as the sport of real tennis to the game that we know and love now. As you walk through the exhibits, you can see the evolution of the sport, not only from its rules, but also its equipment, its popularity, and its prestige. There are some priceless artifacts on display, such as the original prizes awarded at Wimbledon, the first ever metal tennis racket, and all of the equipment that goes into making Wimbledon what it is. There's also some interactive bits where you can test your own tennis skills. This is the Batak wall, which will test your reflex time. I did pretty well, I'm usually good at that sort of thing. Throughout the museum, you'll witness the evolution of the rackets, the evolution of the balls, the evolution of the uniforms. And if you want to know why all of the players playing at Wimbledon traditionally have to wear an all-white outfit, it's the colour that hides sweat the most. That's the actual reason. And if you're a fan of a certain tennis player, they'll most likely have some form of their memorabilia right here. It's super cool, and if you're a tennis fan, you can spend quite a few hours in here. There's even exhibits on wheelchair tennis, play a game of Find the Andy Murray, but the best exhibit is near the exit. It's none other than the Holy Grails of tennis. The Gentleman's Singles Trophy, awarded to the victor of the men's singles competition, and the Venus Rosewater Dish, which is the prize given to the champion of the women's singles tournament. Obviously, you get to see the prizes for the doubles as well, but the Gentleman's Singles Trophy and the Venus Rosewater Dish are the two most holy grails in all of the sports, and it's pretty awesome to see this up close and personal. And once again, when you've finished, it exits out the gift shop where you can buy more merch. That's all well and good, Nin, But how do I get tickets to go to the actual championships? The Wimbledon Championships are usually contested here in July, and there's 3 main ways of getting tickets. The first and most expensive, if you have £80,000 or more lying around, you can buy what's known as a debenture. A debenture is a right to a certain seat for 5 years, and it gives you access to all 14 days of matches during each year's tournament. So that's about 70 matches in total, and it works out at about £1,100 per day. But this guarantees you the best seats in the house. Debenture tickets are the only tickets that are legally allowed to be resold. So if you do find tickets available on ticket websites such as StubHub, expect it to be in the thousands of pounds, because that's how much they cost in the first place. If you don't have £80,000 to spare, like I don't, you can apply in what's known as the Ballot. After the end of the year's championships, the ballot opens for next year's championships, and you can register for a chance to win the right to purchase 2 show court tickets at Wimbledon. Unfortunately, it's randomly assigned, so you don't actually get to pick the day or the court. If you're successful, they'll give you the option to buy those tickets, and if you don't want them, you can refuse and they'll assign those tickets to someone else. Prices average about £40, which is very reasonable and certainly beats paying £1,100 per day for a debenture. Some people apply once and get men's singles finals tickets on the very first try, and some people spend their entire lifetimes and not even get a single one. It's literally luck of the draw. But most people who don't get tickets during the ballot have to join something called the queue. Wimbledon is the only major sporting event where you can buy tickets for that day's play, but they make you queue for it. Opposite the grounds, you'll find Wimbledon Park, and this is where the queue begins. You literally have to line up in the world's longest queue. Once you've joined the queue, a member of staff will hand you something called a queue ticket, which is sequentially numbered. This is important because once it's your turn to buy the tickets, if you don't have the correct number, you will literally be kicked out of the queue. This is to prevent queue jumpers jumping ahead of the line, so be warned and stay in your place in the queue. If you want tickets to the show courts, you'll have to queue the previous night and literally camp out in the park. Wimbledon holds back 500 reserved seats per day for each of the 3 show courts, so if you're the first in line, you can actually get a reserved seat at one of the best courts for that day. If you queue before 9 AM, you'll most likely get what's known as a grounds pass, which is only about £30 and will give you access to every other tennis court that isn't one of the 3 show courts. And to be honest, that's probably the best way of seeing Wimbledon. Get a grounds pass and literally walk from match to match, or watch the action from Henman Hill. Be sure to download the Wimbledon app to your phone, as this will give you live updates for the queue and make your life significantly easier. It sounds like a terrible deal, waiting in line overnight, but believe it or not, this is the actual cheapest way of entering Wimbledon, and possibly the only way for normal fans like me and you to attend the matches. If you're inside on a grounds pass, there's one other sneaky way of possibly getting really reasonably priced seats to one of the show courts. Throughout the day, people leave, and sometimes they hand back their tickets. To check if there's tickets available in the show courts, visit this hut right here, and if there's any free, they'll sell it to you for just £10. It's not guaranteed, of course, but if you're lucky, you can snag the cheapest show court ticket in town. So, what's it like to actually attend Wimbledon? Well, if I'm being brutally honest, it's actually a lovely atmosphere. From the moment you step off the tube, you'll feel in the mood for tennis. Summer in London is always fun, and even when you're walking through the town, it's a nice party atmosphere. Everyone's here to have a good time, and it's definitely a lot more chilled out than you think. When you get to Wimbledon itself, the queues really aren't that bad, and it seems to be incredibly well organised. Everyone's here enjoying the warm sunshine, having a great time, and it's definitely very chill. If you have a grounds pass, the best thing to do is have a wander around the entire grounds of Wimbledon. Especially if you hang around court number 1, you can sit and watch some of the bigger matches on the big screens right here, whilst having a picnic, enjoying some food and a drink or two. and even though there's a lot of people here, it doesn't feel all that busy or claustrophobic. And if you happen to see a tennis match that you like that's happening on one of the smaller courts, feel free to take a seat, watch the match and take it all in. Be sure to try some Pimm's, some strawberries and cream, and there's definitely no shortage of places to eat or buy stuff. Overall, if you're a tennis fan, you'll absolutely love it here. And if you're lucky enough to get last minute tickets to one of the show courts, you're in for a fantastic time. Definitely add this to your bucket list if you're a sports or tennis fan. Okay Nin, I'm sold. What do I need to do? Well, you need to come here to Wimbledon. I've already mentioned all the ways that you can come here at the beginning of the video, and all the ways that you can buy tickets for the actual championships. If you're still not sure, visit the Wimbledon website www.wimbledon.com for further clarification. You can attend the tour and the museum all year round, and it costs about £30 to do both. But I recommend that you do it in spring or summer when the grass is pristine. As for seeing the matches, I've explained all the ways that you can do that. The cheapest is the grounds pass, which you'll have to queue for and it costs £30. And the most expensive is the Debenture ticket, which can be several £1,000s. Tickets to the show courts, if you buy them normally, range from £50 to £275. Is there anything else I need to know? Yes, Wimbledon is now a cashless venue, so you'll need a contactless credit or debit card in order to buy anything. There's also a baggage policy in place, so refer to the website to make sure you're not bringing anything that's prohibited. If you are coming to London, be sure to check out my complete travel guide. And if you're in need of a physical tour guide, be sure to hire London's best tour guide right here, and tell her I said hi. I've explained pretty much everything there is to know in this video, and whether you get a ticket for the tour and museum, or you get to go to the actual championships itself, you'll have a fantastic time. If you have enjoyed this episode, please be sure to like, share and subscribe. Comment on that comment section below, and if you have any other bucket list ideas you want me to do, tweet them at me, and if I get enough suggestions for something, I'll probably go ahead and do that. But guys, thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Holding a tennis tournament. And so it was that the first Wimbledon Championship was played in 1877. Recognised him and said, "Roger Federer, can I have a selfie?" And he said, "Yes, of course." Maybe word will get through to the club chairman, and that's what indeed happened. The club chairman came down and said, "Mr. Federer, you should have said you were coming, but please come in." And he had tea, and when he was inside,